Hey, so welcome everybody. Thank you for joining us for another new in the queue product feature. My name is David Strausser, sales head here at Quaint Business Solutions. Normally, our fabulous CEO, Elizabeth Miller, does these, but today, guess what? You're stuck with me. But I do promise no digital paper cuts. In fact, I don't even have a PowerPoint. So I'll tell you quickly about us. If you don't know, Quaint is an SAP Business One provider who values excellency in customer service as well as knowledge of the SAP Business One application. Part of what we do at Quaint is ensure we are always bringing the latest and greatest innovations in the SAP Business One space to our existing customers and potential new customers, which is what brings us to our presentation today. Today, we have Russ Graf from EBizCharge to show us their payment solution for SAP Business One. So, welcome, Russ. And just a reminder before I turn it over, we will have a question and answer time at the end. Should any questions arise during the presentation, throw them in the chat, or you can wait till we get to the Q&A. We'll get to as many as we can, so jot them down, and we'll be happy to answer all those questions following the presentations. Told you, no digital paper cuts. Russ is going to give you those. So I'm going to stop talking now and let's turn it over to you, Russ, and enjoy the show.
All right, thanks, David. That's one of the more exciting introductions I've had lately. That was well done. Welcome, everybody. Let me echo David's remarks. Happy to have you with us today, or perhaps as you're viewing this as a recorded session later. Either way, appreciate your investment of time. And I also want to express my appreciation to the folks at Quaint for giving us this opportunity. We're fairly early in our partnership, I think probably a year or so, and it's been a great relationship. We're excited about the partnership and appreciate again this opportunity to present to their customers and prospects today. So as David mentioned, my name is Russ Graf and I'm with EBizCharge, and give you a quick view of the agenda for today. Just going to give you a little bit of an overview on who we are as a company and some of the background, and hopefully some of why that matters or should matter to you as you evaluate options in your business. We'll talk about some payment do's and don'ts, what we see out there in the market and what customers are doing and struggling with and so forth. And then we'll talk about our payment tools that we leverage within the SAP Business One application, and then do a little bit deeper dive on a few of those. And then, as David mentioned, we should have some opportunity at the end for a little bit of Q&A as well. We're scheduled for about 30 minutes, may not even take all that time, but we'll be fairly fast paced, but we want to make good use of your time. So again, thanks for your time today. EBizCharge as a business is now over 20 years old and headquartered in Irvine, California, still run today by the same husband and wife team that founded it some 21 years ago now, which is quite unusual in the payment space. I think most of the firms that you'll be maybe looking at or talking to are not privately held. They're sometimes multiple layers into private equity or acquisitions of larger firms and so forth. So we think that matters a little bit. I get the opportunity to work remotely, but I'm in the office on occasion when I'm there in Irvine. I'm always impressed by the culture that I see there, by the camaraderie, the collaboration that occurs. We've now got over 250 employees, and I would say 90% of those are in our corporate office every day. So that includes our sales, our support, our development teams. All of that development happens in-house. It's not outsourced to any other business or to any other country. We do it all right there, and it's a great situation for them to all be able to collaborate and talk with each other and make sure we're all on the same page and do a great job of supporting our customers, which is a huge aspect for us. And that support is 24/7. Again, with our in-house team and product specialists. Last statistic I saw were sub 30 seconds in wait time. If you call our 800 number, you're talking to a tech support person very quickly, and not just a frontline person taking notes, but an actual expert on the product. So we're very proud of that. We think that differentiates us from a lot of the other players in the market, and it's one of the reasons that we have a growing partnership environment, and we are excited to add Quaint to that list of partners, as I mentioned somewhat recently. So, so a really good situation. One of the differentiators for us at EBizCharge is that we are willing and able to build lots of integrations with other applications. So SAP Business One is, of course, one of those. Lots of other ERP environments as well, and accounting applications, as well as CRM systems, shopping cart environments, and so forth. So it's not uncommon these days to see businesses that are in that omni-channel environment, as it's called, where they're maybe selling directly, as well as maybe distributing, as well as doing online sales, and all these different environments may have payments requirements in them. So it's really awesome to be able to have one integrated, consistent, one system that works across all those environments and platforms, and that's what EBizCharge is all about. So we've done a really nice job of that as well. So hopefully that makes sense and establishes a little bit of credibility for the topics that we'll be covering here as we go forward. So one of the things you see out there in the marketplace is businesses surprisingly are still using non-integrated credit card applications, oftentimes using banking systems, right? People are with Chase Bank or whoever, and they may have other banking relationships there, and so it seems to make sense to go ahead and add a merchant services or payment solution from that same banking relationship. But what happens in that environment then is you have a non-integrated environment that is time-consuming and error-prone, and really slows down your internal workflows. So typically in that environment, if you're working in SAP Business One and now you have an external payment system, you need to manually, exit SAP, go to that external system, manually enter that amount, process the card, and then go back into SAP Business One to record that activity, do some bank reconciliation, and so forth. So it's a multi-step process. Tends to be a little bit insecure. Sometimes when you're getting that credit card number from your customer, you're jotting that down on a Post-it note or something. Not a great idea. Hopefully your customers don't even think that that's what you're doing, because they probably wouldn't be happy about that. So that environment can be challenging from a number of different perspectives. And what we would propose as a better solution is an integrated embedded system directly within your workflow in SAP B1, and then have EBizCharge do that processing automatically, record those payments, all that reconciliation, everything happens bang, bang. So you don't have to leave your standard process or workflow to get that accomplished. So, those are some of the don'ts and do's. And what we find when those businesses are running those external applications, or an application that's not tightly embedded, it adds extra tasks. It actually adds extra delay. It hurts cash flow because it delays payment processes. And we know cash flow is king, especially in small and medium-sized businesses. That's really important to manage that. So, if you have to be reaching out to your customers to request the payment, and you have to ask them for a credit card number and run that process that we just described, then you send them a copy of the invoice or a receipt via email or however we do, PDFs of those documents, and then again, record that payment back on the back end. That's just a lot of steps and processes that are not very efficient, and again, tend to be error prone. And then you have extra reconciliation to do at the end of the month, et cetera. So, what we would again prefer is to see you having that all integrated directly within the application, automatically email your customers, and we'll talk a little bit more in depth in some of these features where they can click to pay right within an invoice or access a portal, carry multiple cards on file, all in a very secured environment, all tokenized and encrypted. So there's none of that manual writing down of numbers on Post-it notes, et cetera. So we think there's a better way. and at the same time, there's other advantages as well. I think it's important to know that we are a big part of this SAP community. We've been involved with the SAP product and ecosystem for many years. They have hundreds of users using this application every day. And again, as I mentioned, we have on-site developers building these applications and maintaining them, supporting them, always enhancing them, adding new features and functions and so forth. Again, because we're privately owned, we've got one focus every time we wake up every morning, is nothing else on our mind except how can we do a better job of providing this solution and this application to our customers and support it as well as we possibly can. So really proud to be part of the SAP community. We have a growing presence in that space. There's some new things going on there. We're adding new partners all the time, and there's new communities being built that we're already aware of that we're going to be supporting and be part of. So we're committed to this space 100% and to our partners in this space. So what this is really all about is what sort of secure payment tools can we provide to our SAP B1 teams and customers and see what's going on in today's market in 2025. So as an overview, again, natively processing those payments within the application, within the standard workflow, whether that's orders or invoices or cash receipts, wherever that may occur, we're there and in the natural flow. We have the ability to save multiple cards, right? So your customers may have more than one payment card that they like to use for different reasons. A lot of folks are saving their mileage points and all those kinds of things. So there may be different cards on file. Again, all encrypted and tokenized, stored off-site, as secure as it can possibly be. Again, tools like email pay, a portal for customers to pay, a very capable recurring billing environment. We'll talk a little bit more about that. Embedding payment links within email as well as other environments that may make sense for an organization. We have a very robust mobile payment solution, so handheld and iPad and those kinds of environments. If part of your workforce as a SAP Business One user are out in the field and have reason to have mobile pay available to them at their fingertips, we support that, as well as what are called EMV terminals in more of a point of sale or counter sale type environment, right? Where I'm walking up to somebody, I have my card in my hand, and I'm tapping or inserting that chip into a device or a terminal. We support that environment as well. And cannot emphasize enough the importance of the PCI compliance. You've probably heard that term. There's a governing board that regulates what that compliance needs to look like. We are fully compliant in that environment, and in fact, even more than that. And then we have an add-on solution we'll talk a little bit more about called 3D Secure that works for in some environments where this could be really important if there's an additional potential risk for fraud and challenges along those lines. So with that, drill in a little bit deeper. Again, this concept of saved cards, right, easily allows your customers to save different payment methods to make that real easy for them, whether they're paying through the portal or an invoice click to pay environment. We can store, as many payment methods as makes sense, including ACH. By the way, it doesn't have to be a credit card. It could be a debit card. And so we have the ability to store that information and apply that directly to orders and invoices as in that workflow that we talked about. Can quickly reuse those methods without having to re-enter the details. But if you need to make a change, it's right there off of drop-down lists and so forth. And it really speeds up that cash flow that I mentioned earlier, right? If you make it easy for customers to pay, make it easy for you to get notifications out to those customers to nudge them to pay, it improves your cash flow and makes that customer experience very positive. We all are consumers, all right, in our daily lives, and we know when we're in an environment that makes it easy and not frustrating and so forth, right? That's what we prefer. Those are the kinds of businesses we prefer to do business with. So it makes sense to provide these tools to your customers and provide that experience. Payment links. you have the ability to send a payment link to customers to get paid with simply a click, right? And we've got all the ability to customize and modify that, do your branding in those environments so that it looks very professional. And so you can send those payment links directly to your customer's inbox via email, or copy that link to send it anywhere online, whatever tool might make sense, or that's your customer's preference. So very flexible. And again, customers just click that link, get to a secured web form, and use again that saved information, or add new information if there's a new payment method, new card being used for that particular transaction. Easy to add that on the fly, and away you go. And again, we can customize the branding and the colors on that payment form so that it looks very professional from your customer's perspective. They're doing business with you. They don't know that EBizCharge is powering that underneath the hood. And again, the tight integration that allows that to be applied right back to those invoices within the accounting system in SAP. So that's very useful. And specifically, that payment link right within that email, right? You can email invoices directly to your customers from within SAP Business One. Then those customers again have that ability to click on that link, go to that secured web form. No need to log in anywhere. It just simply takes them right in and process that payment. And again, gets integrated fully on the back end because we're so nicely embedded in the application. No worries on the back end in terms of applying payments and reconciliations. Another method that is popular is this concept of a customer portal, right? A bill pay portal. So this really comes into play more when customers are on terms. So you may have businesses that are on terms with you, they're buying product throughout the month, they're accumulating various invoices that are now due, whatever, depending on what those terms are. And now we want to make it easy for those customers to get into a portal and select which payments to which invoices to pay, or possibly partially pay. And work within a very clean professional environment again to do that way, looking at invoice histories, what's been paid before, make those kinds of decisions within that secured portal. Seamlessly again syncs with the SAP Business One. Notifications that can then go out to acknowledge the receipt of that payment, all within the standard workflow again within Business One. It's really slick. So and you have customers that are on those terms environments. That makes it really easy, and again promotes good cash flow for you as a business, right? Because people are going to be experiencing a pleasant environment there to make those payments. Another piece of that is this concept of recurring billings. So you may have customers that you want to make a plan with that says, hey, regardless of what the invoice balances are, maybe I just want to make a payment of $1,000 a month on the 5th of the month every month, or twice a month, whatever that looks like. You can create that environment and create those billing cycles very easily, very customizable to put those schedules into this portal environment, and again allow your customers to have ultimate flexibility, as well as make edits and changes to what was the standard plan. But especially if you're on any kind of a subscription model business, right, you can just create that recurring billing very easily and have it automatically go grab those credit card numbers. The customer doesn't even have to be involved, other than they'll get notification that it was processed. So a lot of flexibility in the recurring billing environment, and makes that very easy and depending on the business model that you're deploying for your customers. Very slick. And then those last couple of things that we talked about on that prior screen, the PCI compliance and 3D secure, we'll talk about in a second. So this is critically important, right? You may hear terms like level 1, level 2, level 3 compliance, and that has a couple of impacts. One, it impacts the fees that you're getting charged, right? The more compliant, the more secure, the more data that can be passed securely between us, the lower your rates are going to be, and the more secure your environment's going to be. So we are a PCI certified payment solution, have been from the get-go. But not only that, we're actually listed on the PCI Council's website as a PCI validated payment software. That's pretty unusual. That's a very high bar that we had to cross to get to that level of validation. I'm not aware of any of our competitors, to be honest with you, in the small, medium-sized business market that have attain that level of acknowledgement from the PCI Council, so we're proud of that. We're focused on that. Again, we've got our own in-house underwriting team. We've got our own in-house security team. So we really focus carefully on how do we not only deal with fraud, but prevent fraud, right? Get ahead of the curve and prevent fraudulent transactions from occurring. And then a lot of that is based on our ability to meet these standards with tokenization and encryption, the offsite data storage, using all the latest up-to-date protocols for secure transmission of data. And again, some built-in fraud detection and prevention type applications within that environment. So really a huge focus for us, as it should be, given that we're dealing with important financial information and unfortunately the environment that we operate in these days with some pretty sophisticated hacking and crime going on out there and fraud going on out there. So really critical. As I mentioned, we have an additional feature. All the things that I've talked about so far are all built into the application at no extra charge. It is all right there as part of the solution. We do have one additional feature that does have a little bit of an extra fee associated. So it's not necessarily for everybody, but some business environments are more prone to fraud and fraudulent activities than others. And so we can have that conversation with the owners at your customer site if this makes sense for them. But it's an additional level of fraud prevention and enhanced security. And what it really does is it transitions the burden of the fraud of any liability to that fraud from away from you as the merchant and over to the banking organization that's processing the transaction. So it removes that liability or risk of liability in the case of a fraudulent transaction. So it's pretty sophisticated, very cool, relatively new offering from us over the last year or two. Been very well received by our customers in the market. And again, it's not for everybody, but there are some environments, some situations where this makes a lot of sense. And so we wanted to be able to add that additional layer of authentication and fraud prevention, and again, shift that liability off of you as the merchant over to the bank institution, because you've done everything right. Now, if there's fraud, it's on them. So very cool application there, an additional feature. So a quick summary, and then we'll wrap it up and open up for some from Q&A. Why do SAP teams choose EBizCharge? Well, we're really the dominant player in this space. And in fact, there are some things happening in the SAP market where that's going to even be more true than it has been. So we're a critical player in the space. We're committed to it, and we have built this seamless integration to leverage all the latest technology. It'll make it easy for your customers or for you to process these transactions, right? Again, whether that's credit or debit or e-check, ACH type transactions, all done directly within the ERP workflow. Again, storing cards directly in those orders and invoices in a very secure environment. Multiple cards, if necessary, per customer to make it easy for those customers. And invoicing with email pay links and the customer pay portal, all the flexibility that you need to really provide great customer service to your customers as a merchant for them, and really drive that increased cash flow that is critical to all small, medium-sized businesses. And again, all that done in a very PCI compliant environment. And from a pricing standpoint, we do actually have a meter beat pricing model. EBizCharge is the developer of the integration. We're the processor of the credit card. We're actually the gateway on the back end of that. So we really own and manage and are responsible for that whole tech stack, if you will, which again makes our support that much better, right? Because we're not having to call somebody else. We don't have the ability to point fingers. If something's going on, it's us, and we're going to solve it because we've got all those tools and ability right there. But it also then allows fees to be lower because of our support. We're very efficient, and because of that compliance environment, we're going to have a very strong pricing opportunity for you as well. Unlimited in-house support, as I mentioned. and really easy installation, right? So because of the quality of that integration gets installed, we're responsible for that. Obviously, we work closely with our partners. So if you're a customer of Quaint and Quaint is working with you to get a system up and running, get us installed, we're certainly going to be in communication with their consultants and make sure that we're all on the same page. But we are responsible at EBizCharge for the installation, the testing, the training, getting you deployed and up and running very quickly. We typically do that in less than a day or day and a half type of scenarios. So very rapid, get you in, get you going, get you processing, answering your questions, get you trained, and off you go. And we've got customers now that have been with us for almost all those 20 years. So I know we do a nice job of ongoing support and keeping those relationships in place. So that's why top teams really do choose us. It's the right decision. It's a comfortable decision, and it's the right long-term decision as well. So we'd love to have a one-on-one conversation with you to learn more about your business requirements, what your model is, what your customers are like, what you're selling, and what your environments are. If you've got multiple locations or all those things, we're happy to do that kind of a requirements analysis, make sure we understand your business, and then provide you a personalized demo of our solution focused on the kinds of features that are important to you, and make sure that we meet those needs and requirements. And then, of course, we hope to earn the opportunity to present a proposal to you and earn your business and go forward from there. So all you need to do is just let us know, or let your contacts at Quaint Business Solutions know that you'd like to take that next step, take a closer look. We'd be excited and honored to have that opportunity to do that. And with that, I'll turn it back over to you, David and team, to see if there's any questions that we can address in the remaining 3, 4, 5 minutes that we've got here.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Russ. Just checking in. Lauren, do we have any questions in the queue here?
I personally had a few questions that I wanted to ask Russ. One was, does EBizCharge support down payments in Business One? Like if I wanted an order to be paid for before it shipped and the AR invoice is applied?
You bet. Yeah, lots of options that way in terms of the workflow, that we could do what's called a pre-authorization just to make sure that the funds are there to support it, or actually take a payment as a down payment on an order and run that credit card transaction for that amount. Absolutely. Either way, whatever makes sense in that business environment.
Wonderful.
So running off that question, Lauren, one other thing that Lauren's question brought up for me, Russ, can you confirm this? If a transaction is done offline, like for example, you brought up the EMV machines, okay, where it's not being processed inside of SAP Business One, but externally, you're able to bring all that data in to SAP Business One, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, we have a tool that we call a virtual cloud, a virtual terminal in the cloud. That could be a kind of an external approach, depending again on the environment. Maybe you're going to a trade show or something and you don't have the EMV, the terminals there. That's a cloud-based version of a terminal. So we've got that solution as well. So we cover a lot of different scenarios, and we just have that conversation with your customers and prospects, and we'll get the right mix of tools together.
Okay, that sounds pretty awesome. Lauren, you said that you had other questions as well, or?
Yeah, I had another question. Just wondering how the pricing of EBizCharge works. Is it like a user or license-based cost, or is it like a general add-on cost? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, good question. It's actually not a licensing environment. The way EBizCharge makes its money in these environments is just through the processing fees. And I already talked about how we're very cost effective and efficient, and so our fees are low, but yet we're still very profitable, right? We're a good, growing, solid, profitable business, as you'd want to be doing business with. We're not going to disappear, and so it's a real solid environment that way. It's not a licensing licensing environment. And all that support, all those features and functions that I talked about, other than 3D Secure, are all built into that transaction fee, right? We provide all that as part of the bundle, if you will. From further, the challenge with pricing is it's very difficult to quote that until we understand the business environment. It's kind of like asking your car insurance guy, what's it going to cost to insure my vehicle? Well, they're going to come back with about 15 questions, right? Well, what kind of car? Have you had any tickets? How long is your commute, et cetera, right? So there's a little bit of that back and forth where we have to do that so that we can do proper underwriting to make sure we get the best possible and lowest possible transaction costs for our customers, because that's our goal. And so it takes a little bit of understanding to get there, but it's a very quick process as well. So, but yeah, that's not a licensing environment.
Okay, thank you.
You bet.
And that means, just to clarify that for Russ, with not a licensing environment, and Russ, correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is, as far as your, how you natively work inside of SAP Business One, that is complementary with the service of having you with EBizCharge connected. So it's not like they have to pay an additional cost then for that licensing. That's what you're talking about, correct?
That's correct. Exactly.
Perfect. Do we have any other questions out there? Because if not, I think we're at time. And let's see, I think we have everything done then. So great. Thank you, everybody. Really, grateful for everybody that joined. Appreciate you all being here. Please follow us on LinkedIn. Check our email announcements for the next product feature or other great things going on at Quaint. We got a lot of cool stuff coming out on social media very shortly. And also, please don't forget our website, www.quaintbusiness.com, to find other great resources, information, and our brand new blog post is there listed underneath our blog section underneath the resources as well. Thank you all again for joining. Thank you again, Russ. Thank you, Lauren, for putting this together. And we'll see you all next time.
Yeah, my pleasure, David and Lauren. Appreciate the opportunity and the partnership, and I look forward to some follow-up opportunities to talk with you. Thanks. Have a great day.